It's been a year since Unplanned was released.
Abby Johnson is in the other room.
Here.
She wants out.
Rough day at the office?
Yeah. You can say that.
What always comes to my mind is the first time that Chuck Konzelman and Carrie Solomon, the writers, directors, and producers of Unplanned, called me. And they're like, we're gonna make Unplanned into a movie. We're coming to your house to interview you. And I'm just sitting there going, who is this? You know, how did you get this number? But they did. They came a couple of days later. They interviewed Mary Lisa and I for about 6 or 7 hours, and they left to go write the screenplay, and then they were gonna send it to me. But they decided to come back about 4 or 5 months after that initial interview. And they wanted to come here, the now closed Planned Parenthood, where 40 Days for Life first began, where Abby was the 2008 Planned Parenthood Employee of the Year as a manager and a director of this facility. They wanted to come through the building to see it because they were gonna rebuild it in Oklahoma, where they filmed. So I brought them in to the building. This was 2015, and they walked around, and I'll never forget taking them back to where most of the abortions were done, the surgical room, which they recreated in what I believe is one of the most powerful scenes in the history of film, where Abby actually witnesses a baby boy aborted before her eyes. And they went into the room where that event actually occurred. And Carrie began to weep. And these are tough guys. They're professional guys. They made a great movie. But to see him start weeping, which is the appropriate reaction of going in that room. And it's the appropriate reaction when you watch that scene in the movie. But he looked down and he said, we are gonna recreate this. This is Auschwitz. This is awful what happened in here, and we're gonna recreate it and send a message to the world. I think that's the power of film. I think that shows how the movie spoke to people, that it elevated this issue and it elevated the tragedy. I do think those people who see it, they're gonna forget about me and Mary Lisa and Abby and everybody in the movie. That's all secondary. They're not gonna forget about that baby who was aborted. That baby is the star of Unplanned. And a year later, we know that more than ever. It was exciting helping launch, Unplanned, and when we had 400 theaters the Thursday night before it came out. It was the largest theater pre-purchase than any movie in history, is what Cinemark told me. That opening weekend was unbelievable. And the most beautiful story was Friday night, Saturday, we got a report of the opening weekend. And all of our theaters were packed. People were going back to theaters. There was a theater in Dallas that went from 2 screens to 9 in one day, just covering Unplanned. It was just mayhem. They added 600 theaters for the second weekend. But we got a report of a young woman who was scheduled to have an abortion the Saturday that Unplanned was released. And her friend was trying to talk her out of it. So her intention was to have the abortion and to prove it to her friend that she was not going to be talked out of it. She said, I'll even go see that abortion movie that's coming out this weekend, which of course was Unplanned. And so she goes Friday night with her friend to prove to her that abortion is fine and she's going to go have it tomorrow. She watches the movie, and instead of going on Saturday to her abortion appointment, she went to the 40 Days for Life vigil that was being held outside the abortion facility where she was scheduled to have that abortion. And instead of going in, she joined the vigil outside and prayed for an end to abortion. And that is the power of the movie. My hope was obviously that people would leave the theater or get on their iPhone and sign up for 40 Days for Life. And that happened instantly. Instantly. We got reports Friday night of the opening weekend that theaters were just leaving and going out to their abortion facilities to pray, because 40 Days for Life was going on when the movie came out. And so they were just going and joining the vigil. Our local leaders said people are coming out of the middle of nowhere, the woodwork. Our participation went up 30% across the board. Our volunteer base, we had the 1 millionth volunteer join 40 Days for Life last spring, definitely as a result of Unplanned. We just saw this boom of people willing to do something. Whether it's an hour a day, an hour a week, an hour a month, whatever it is, doing something, because it is worthy of our time. It is worthy of our sacrifice. It is worthy of our discomfort.